folks, what we got here is a Quantum TRIAX 30 spinning reel. I've had this set up on one of my rods for a while, probably a good, if I had to say, 10 years or so, maybe more. But I'm going to be doing a real maintenance on this. It's just it's feeling a little stiff and not operating as good as I'd like it to. If you can hear that, it's got a little squeaky to it. We're just going to disassemble it and get into it and see if we can get rid of the squeaky. Alright, let's do it. First of all, I'm going to start by loosening the drag. Okay, I turned the drag knob all the way out so we can set that to the side, and that will allow us to remove the spool. Next, we're going to remove the handle. This is how I do things. It's not by the book or whatever, so take this for what it's worth. This is just my way of servicing these reels. Alright, next we're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screws on the bell. Set it to the side, and then I'll flip it around, take this screw out, set it to the side. Alright, now just slowly remove the bell from the reel. Be very careful with this. There's a spring inside here. It locates in that little hole right there. Set that to the side. You want to be careful because you don't want to lose any of this. Alright, you want to remove this washer and this gear here that goes to your spool. Set it to the side. Alright, once we get that off, we remove this screw. This time we'll use a standard screwdriver to break that loose. And we'll want to be careful when we take this off, just to make sure we don't lose these parts. We want to inspect everything in here. And lay this stuff to the side. Take that out and we'll clean all this up. Alright, next I'm going to wipe all these down, all these parts down, and clean them up a little bit so we can re-lube them and get them put back in. Alright, I've got some marine grade grease. That's all that I have available, so I'm just going to put a light coat of marine grade grease all on these pieces that go in here. This relocates right in there, and then this little piece. This is bigger on one side than the other, that little knob. This locates right in that little recessed hole there. it sat right in there like that. And then if you remember, when we took that apart, this was sitting up here, so we're good there. We'll grab our cover, place it back on with the screw, get it started. We used a standard screwdriver. Tighten that back down. And there we go, just snug. We'll wipe all this off. Okay. Alright, I'm going to remove this screw right here. This keeps the nut from spinning or backing off. So this is a small screw, so be very careful with it. Alright, we're going to take this nut loose. It's a 10 millimeter. This is left-handed threads, so we can't take it off like normal. We've got to turn it to the right to loosen it. So once that's loose, we can back that off. Set it to the side. Now be very careful taking this off. We're going to go straight up. And that exposes our bearings in there. One thing I want to point out is this reel. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some right here is some hair or debris or something right there. Stuff like that is not good for your reel. So we're gonna clean all this off anyways and re-lube it all and go from there, and we'll be back. I've got everything cleaned up. I'm gonna put a drop of oil on either side of this bearing. My 3-in-1 oil here. I'll put a drop here, and I'll put a drop there, and wipe off the excess. And also on the reel side, you can see the bearings down in there. I'm going to take and just put a drop of that in there, so that'll help lubricate the internals when we put it all back together. Alright, after we got those lubed, we're going to take our spool cover holder. I'm not sure the term for this. I apologize for that. This is all, like I said, this is not by the book. This is just my way of doing things, so don't take it as it's written in stone or anything. And we'll put this back on, and remember, this is left-handed threads, so we got to turn it to the left to tighten. And we just want this snug. It's got to be on a flat though. We'll bump it right there to that flat. So hand tight, and then a turn until our lock screw can go back in. There we go. Alright, once that's on, we want to make sure this shaft, I already made sure it was out all the way before I got to this point, but we're going to put some of our 3-in-1 oil, whoa, came out a little quick, on that shaft. I know it looks excessive, but we'll wipe it all off. And we just want to spin that a few times. What that'll do, that'll get on that shaft. We'll want to take it in all the way down, and then we're going to wipe off the excess. Alright, that's relubricated. Okay, one thing I almost forgot for the reassemble. We need to put a little bit of grease on this post here. Don't worry if it gets on any of that stuff. And we need to put it on this post here. Now, putting grease on these posts are so the bell operates smoothly, flipping the bell in and out. Alright, we'll get the bell put back on. Alright, going to put the bell back on. This piece here will locate in this little hole here, and then this piece here, that rod operates in this groove here. Alright, bell's back on. Sorry I couldn't really show that, but if you can see in there, that's how they're located. I know it's hard to see and I apologize. And then we'll take this screw and put it back in right here. And just snug it, and that will allow our bell to operate. Like it should. And from here you can hear the plastic rubbing. We could take and put a drop of oil there, here, and there, and then as we work that oil will get worked in, and that rubbing won't be as bad. Alright, next is our drag gear goes back on, and the little washer that was on top of that goes on. Spool, it goes back on, and tighten our drag down to hold our spool on. That's pretty tight. Loosen it. That's working again like it should. Alright, lastly we're going to put the handle back on. This is all stationary, so we don't need to do anything to it. We just wiped it all down pretty decent. I'm a right-handed person, but I reel with my left hand on the spinning reel. It's usually your opposite hand. So I'll take and I'll put that back in, get that readjusted, and put in to where that handle locks. Turn it around, put the locking screw back in. I'll tighten that down, snug it up hand tight, and then take my 3-in-1 oil, put a dab right there. I don't know why this thing don't want to stand up. Put a dab of 3-in-1 oil. Get that all lubed up and wipe off the excess. it's not going to hurt if oil gets on this either. I mean, oil's a protectant, so whatever. And then just wipe the rest of it down. Alright, now we've got her all lubed up and cleaned and all that, and then we can take that and then